Getting ready to talk about this little boy. His name is Cedric Jackson Jr. He was only 18 months old, and this is actually an update. So this is actually part 2. The person that we're getting ready to talk about now is going to be the focal point of this story, is the fake auntie that was crying on camera. Her name is Chrystal Jackson, and we thought that the way that she was being on camera was very weird. All this heavy breathing. You guys know I'm going to cut that out, put that on the outtakes channel also. So if you guys want to check out the outtakes, that's definitely going to be a moment that's going to be on there. Because I thought it was really weird when you're talking about kids and kids that were in your possession and kids that end up dying and passing away. I think that the way that you handle yourself and the way that you purport yourself is extremely important. It's extremely important if you're going to be in front of the camera. Just like with Brittany Bowens in Houston, Texas, we thought that her countenance was all wrong, and I believe that, you know, they need to find a way to criminally prosecute her in order for putting her daughter Malia Davis in harm's way. We're getting ready to talk about the mom. This is the biological mom right here. So much we're going to talk about. So let me go ahead and get the photo on the screen of the main person we're going to be talking about as of right now. That's going to be the auntie. This woman on the screen, her name is Chrystal Jackson. She's 27 years old, even though she looked like she's about 45. She really looks like she's about 45. I'm sorry, but good Lord, man. Like, I don't know what type of water she drinking, but it is aging her in a rapid way. But again, her name is Chrystal Jackson, 27 years old, Chrystal, Jackson spelled traditionally. She faces a felony charge in connection with her nephew's death. Now, she claimed that the toddler was abducted at night, triggering an Amber Alert. And I'm telling you guys, that type of thing is extremely important with regard to the Amber Alert system, contacting the authorities. That stuff is important, man. We waste a lot of man hours and time when these people are doing a lot of this stuff that, you know, they're doing this stuff to themselves. Now, this story was updated at 2:11 p.m., and we also have a new bail amount. So this is brand new breaking information. The aunt of the 18-month-old boy whose body was found in a landfill has been arrested a week after her boyfriend was accused of killing the child. Chrystal Jackson, again, 27 years old, was arrested Wednesday morning on a felony child endangerment charge, and she remains in the Dallas County Jail in lieu of $35,000 bail. Now, her boyfriend got way more bail than that, but he's actually accused with the murder. But $35,000, I can live with that. I can live with that. Now, on July 10th, Chrystal Jackson claimed that her nephew by the name of Cedric CJ Jackson, the little 18-month-old boy right here, this little boy right here, had been abducted from her Dallas apartment. The missing child report triggered a statewide Amber Alert because they're trying to find these kids. This is the graphic that I made for the original show. So if y'all hadn't seen that, go back and watch that because it focuses more on her boyfriend that was on the right-hand side of that picture. Now, Johnson said he started swaddling CJ after the boy once made a mess, quote, made a mess with ketchup in the middle of the night with ketchup packets. Swaddling is whenever you take a baby and you wrap them tightly in a blanket. But he wrapped this baby so tight, it ended up choking the kid and it ended up killing the kid. Okay? The man said he didn't want the child to get up during the night, according to the arrest affidavit. Now, contrary to what Jackson originally told police, she woke up in the middle of the night to find her boyfriend and nephew missing from the apartment. And I want you guys to remember, on camera, and I'm going to show you those videos, she was defending him. He wouldn't do nothing like that. That was her words. She said he wouldn't do anything like that. Y'all remember that? You got to be careful who you defend. It don't matter how much you love them, because I think that also goes to show the level of irresponsibility whenever you're talking about these women loving these men more than they love the kids that they are supposed to be custodial parents of, right? She called Johnson to ask where he was, according to a search warrant for Johnson's cell phone. So they got a search warrant for her cell phone and found out that she was lying. And that's awesome. I'm glad they did that. Jackson initially told police she put her nephew in bed around 11 p.m. and the boy was gone when she woke up the morning of July the 10th, right? The boyfriend told police that he woke up at around 12:30 a.m. July 10th when the toddler started making noise. He said the boy started throwing up after Johnson unwrapped CJ from the swaddle, records show. The toddler was then unresponsive and didn't wake up after Johnson did CPR, based on what he's saying. The man told police, according to the police affidavit. He told the boys, he took the, excuse me, I gotta be real careful when I say this. After the boy was unresponsive, he took the boy's body to a dumpster in Northeast Dallas. This guy, Cedric Johnson, just took the baby like, well, he's dead, like a freaking animal, and just dropped him in a dumpster. The toddler's body was found in a Rowlett landfill the next day. And I'm going to show you guys a video kind of to give you a depiction about how that process works. To search an entire landfill is just absolutely ridiculous. CJ was put with Jackson after he was removed from his parents' custody, which we're going to talk about that again. Because I don't like the fact that the biological mother gets away from this scot-free. I don't like that at all. And while you guys are here, thank you to everybody that's already clicked the thumbs up. For the new people here, just click the thumbs up, share the stream, let other people know that we're currently live on this channel, okay? Now, after the toddler's death, 6 children were taken from Johnson and Jackson's home and put into foster care. CJ was put with Jackson after he was removed from his mother's care. So I want you guys to understand, there was a total of 9 people inside of this house or an apartment, whatever you want to call it. You had the aunt, you had her boyfriend, you had baby CJ, then you had 4 of the boyfriend's children there, plus the 2 that they had between them. And somehow CPS saw it not fit for this woman holding on to that microphone. Nope, let's go back. Let's look at her face. Let's look at this big nasty face of hers, because that's the biological mother right here. And they found that she was not fit to take care of her own kid. So what did they do? They decided to put this kid in her sister's custody, who already had 6 kids inside of the house. How in the hell does any of that make any sense? What did she have going on? Probably had a dude inside the house with her. What did the biological mother have going on that she, right here, could not take care of her own damn kid? While she's crying like she suffered a tragedy. The real tragedy is whenever the parents, the biological mother and biological father, can't work together and provide and take care of this kid and protect this kid. How about that? It was never the responsibility of CPS to come in and raise your kids. It was never the responsibility of the government to come in and provide housing and food for your kids. It was never meant for this. It's not meant for the police to come in and tell you guys how to behave. It was meant for us as parents. It is your God-given responsibility to take care of the children that you produce in private. If you make them in private, you should take care of them in private. Holla if you hear me. They had 2 girls, ages 6 and 8, and the couple were the couple's children, and then the other 4 are Johnson's. And I think you guys, I've already explained that to you. After the arrest, Chrystal Jackson, let me get back on her photo. This woman said after her boyfriend's arrest, she said he wouldn't do this. And she said it on camera. I'm going to show you guys the video of what she said. Now, here's where the part comes in where CPS is about to get in some trouble. And internal and independent reviews will likely examine why baby Cedric was placed in the home of Johnson, who has a criminal history in Dallas County. Right. The child's mother, again, let me see if I can get her picture on the screen. I know she's a little big, but we're going to get her on the screen. Once again, the biological mother right here, her name is Dishundra, Dishundra, Dishundra Thomas, had allowed her baby, Cedric, to stay with the aunt, Chrystal Jackson. The arrangement by CPS was not against her will, Thomas said. And thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you, White Wolf Lawrence, and also thank you to Angel for the super chats. The other ones, if y'all want to contribute to our platform, links are in the description box. I'm going to read those here in a minute because a number of them have already come through. So I got those. I'm going to read those here in a moment. However, CPS would not knowingly place a child in a home with an adult who has a criminal history, said Marissa Gonzalez, a spokeswoman for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. So how did they not know that he was living there? How did they not know that his 4 kids that belong to him were living there? Like, I don't know how the hell they got this through CPS, but I'm not going to blame CPS for this, because I think that what these people learn to do is they learn to lie and manipulate the system. Therefore, they can collect the benefits from each and one of those children. Hashtag babies for benefits, because that's what people like Chrystal Jackson do. They don't take in all these kids to be benevolent. They do this in order to get money. That's what they do it for. Money and food. That's what they do it for. Now, Johnson was charged with child abandonment in 2010, if you guys hadn't already heard the story, after police say that he left his infant daughter, again, that's her boyfriend, left his infant daughter alone in an apartment while he was propositioned an undercover officer who he believed was a prostitute. Jesus. He pled guilty in 2011, which was only a few years ago, and was sentenced to 4 years of probation. Later, Johnson violated that probation and was sentenced to 8 months in state jail in 2016. Under normal circumstances, CPS officials conduct a criminal background check on each adult in the home before each child is considered for child placement. She didn't provide details on Cedric's case Friday, citing an ongoing criminal investigation. The Department of Family and Protective Services Offices of Child Safety will conduct an independent review of CPS's handling of Cedric's case, and it's not clear either investigation will complete. The Office of Child Safety will issue a report detailing its findings when the investigation is complete, but Gonzalez said that the office would need the approval of the Dallas County District Attorney's Office and law enforcement before releasing the report publicly. Now, Johnson was still in the Dallas County Jail as of Friday this evening, with his bail being set at a grand total of $503,000. That's a big difference from her bail. Her bail is set at $35,000. His bail is $503,000. But I think they're both equally responsible. Let's go ahead and get this fair use popping. You guys click that thumbs up, man. Share the stream. We're live. Post something in the chat, man. Tell them how you feel. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Let me make sure I get my correct video up here. I'm going to start with this video. So we'll start with this one first. This one, some of you guys have already seen, so this is going to be a replay for some of you, okay?
Cynthia, some of the neighbors approaching us in this complex seem so upset right now after hearing what police are uncovering about what allegedly happened back here in one of the apartment units. You know, earlier today we talked to the toddler's aunt. She seemed so emotional after hearing about his death, but her tone quickly shifted into protecting her boyfriend.
We don't know 100% of what happened, but
That's the initial reaction from Chrystal Jackson, the aunt and caregiver of little Cedric Jackson, or CJ as family called him, moments after learning the Amber Alert for the 18-month-old was being called off early Thursday morning. Jackson told us police notified the family the toddler was dead.
We all love that baby. He was just the sweetest little baby.
Jackson initially...
That's the part that I wanted y'all to see. I wanted y'all to see how fake this broad is. We're going to rewatch this once again because, again, this is who just got arrested. And I want you guys to notice that y'all are just like, well, y'all don't know what she was going through. Y'all don't know what she was going through. Soto Podcast, the AFC, she might have been going through some things. No, she wasn't. She was lying. That's what we always say. When we find out these people acting weird and crazy like this, listen to how she so-called cried. Listen at this again.
Brandon.
We don't know 100% of what happened, but
all that hard ass breathing, God, dog.
Her boyfriend.
We don't know 100% of what happened, but we don't know 100% of what happened, but
keep in mind, this is the woman that just got arrested.
We don't know 100% of what happened, but we don't know 100% of what happened, but
y'all ever talk to anybody that talks to you like that? That's weird.
We don't know 100% of what happened, but
That's the initial reaction from Chrystal Jackson, the aunt and caregiver of little Cedric Jackson, or CJ as family called him, moments after learning the Amber Alert for the 18-month-old was being called off early Thursday morning. Jackson told us police notified the family the toddler was dead.
I want y'all to tell me, if y'all were listening to her, do y'all believe that she's telling the truth or do y'all believe she's lying? Do y'all believe she's lying?
we all love that baby. He was just the sweetest little baby. We all love that baby. He was just the sweetest little baby.
I'm telling you, man, she really could win an Academy Award. Look at this again.
We all love that baby.
She needs to go into acting. Somebody needs to get her an acting job after she does, you know, her 10 years in prison for this.
Baby. He was just the sweetest little baby.
Jackson initially reported Cedric missing from her home at the Twin Creek Apartments in Lake Highlands area of Dallas Wednesday morning, allegedly abducted by someone who entered the home.
I want to know if you guys believe that she's little lion or big lion. What do y'all think? Let's take a vote in the chat. Do y'all think she's little lion or big lion?
Thursday morning, the woman's boyfriend, Cedric Johnson, was booked in Dallas County Jail, charged with injury to a child.
The abduction, I don't believe that.
This group of women are among neighbors who helped in a frantic search for the toddler on Wednesday.
And I want to shout these neighbors out, because these neighbors right here that you're looking at on the screen called this out, and they said, an abduction? No, that don't sound right. We don't believe that. They called them out. Those neighbors right there, they called them out.
Among neighbors who helped in a frantic search for the toddler on Wednesday.
Now y'all got to remember, we got to use hood terms. Is she little lion or big lion? Like, is you little mad or big mad? Is she little lion or big lion? Come on, man. Y'all pull y'all hood terminology out. Y'all hood terminology out.
They say they were skeptical of the abduction claims, but still pitched in to help.
We walked up and down the street, Whitehurst. We walked to different apartments. My daughters was checking in the back of the creeks.
And I agree. Like, I like the fact that this woman here with the red, white, and blue weave in her head, that, you know, looking like she ready to celebrate her American freedom at any given moment. I like the fact that she had her kids looking in creeks and stuff. Like, I can respect that in her holiday hairstyle. I can respect that.
The street, Whitehurst. We walked to different apartments. My daughters was checking in the back of the creeks.
Like many, they're devastated learning police found the boy's body in a landfill, dumped like trash.
I told them to check the dumpsters yesterday before they took him away. I told them, have you guys checked the dumpsters?
As the child's death investigation progressed Thursday afternoon, Chrystal Jackson became more tight-lipped, only saying a few words when WFAA pressed her about her boyfriend's arrest.
That's when you find out that she's holding on to information. She's lying. Is she Simba or the Lion King? I like that. Very good. Very good. I like that.
They're saying your boyfriend may have been arrested in connection to this crime. Can you?
He wouldn't do this.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
This is where I figured out, okay, she's harboring information right here. I'm going to rewind that so y'all can hear it again.
In connection to this crime. Can you?
He wouldn't do this.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
Boyfriend may have been arrested in connection to this crime. Can you?
He wouldn't do this.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
Meantime,
Been arrested in connection to this crime. Can you?
He wouldn't do this.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
She said he wouldn't do that. He confessed to it. They found the body and have some type of evidence on him. And yes, she needs a bra because that damn thing that she wearing, that smock or whatever the hell she wearing, is about to fall off of her. It's literally hanging by the threads, literally, if y'all go back and watch the video. Her concern was not about the children at all. It was not about the children that she had. It was not about the little baby CJ. It was not about the fact that he's dead, and it wasn't about the fact that her boyfriend also lost the 4 kids that she had living in her house. They lost 7 children in total, 1 being dead, and her concern is her boyfriend. He wouldn't do that. Now y'all tell me that's not a cold, hard, callous person that don't give a crap about those kids.
Arrest.
They're saying your boyfriend may have been arrested in connection to this crime. Can you?
He wouldn't do this.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
Meantime, neighbors say they want to know what really happened to this little boy with the innocent smile.
This is, I mean, heartbreaking.
Let me go ahead and move on to the next video.
And right in this area of Dallas, Wednesday morning, allegedly abducted by someone who entered the home. Thursday morning, the woman's boyfriend, Cedric Johnson, was booked in Dallas County Jail, charged with injury to a child.
The abduction, I don't believe that.
This group of women are among neighbors who helped in a frantic search for the toddler on Wednesday. They say they were skeptical of the abduction claims, but still pitched in to help.
We walked up and down the street, Whitehurst. We walked to different apartments.
Pumpkin 4U69. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do, no, he wouldn't do that.
My daughters was checking in the back of the creeks.
Like many, they're devastated learning police found the boy's body in a landfill, dumped like trash.
I told them to check the dumpsters yesterday before they took him away. I told them, have you guys checked the dumpsters?
And they would have found them if they would have checked the dumpsters. That's the crazy part.
As the child's death investigation progressed Thursday afternoon, Chrystal Jackson became more tight-lipped.
That is a badly built woman. She is literally built like a like have y'all ever seen like that Wonder Bread? I think I call it Wonder Bread. Like Mrs. Baird's. She's shaped like a package of Mrs. Baird's bread. Like just horrible. Just man. Come on, brothers in Dallas. Y'all got to do better than this, man. It's a lot of women in Dallas to choose from. I'm just saying.
Only saying a few words when WFAA pressed her about her boyfriend's arrest.
They're saying your boyfriend may have been arrested in connection to this crime. Can you?
He wouldn't do this.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
Meantime, this area of Dallas.
You know, my baby's a good baby. He's a good...
Now, I want y'all to hear, this is the baby's mom. And we're getting ready to get on to her sweaty, stinky looking face right here. So we're going to call her sweaty, stinky face. That's what we're going to call her. This is the biological mother of baby CJ, the one who lost custody of her kid, which means that she did something bad enough to her kid to lose custody in the first damn place. Let's listen at this bride.
You know, my baby's a good baby. He's a good boy. He's quiet. He's nice. You know, he's a little shy. I just, just keep him safe. Just bring him back to us. Just bring him back to us. Doesn't matter where he is. I just want him back with us, safe.
Cedric Jackson had been recently placed in the temporary custody of an aunt at that location by CPS, and she reported that she put him down to sleep at some point after 11 p.m. last night and woke up this morning at about 6 and discovered him missing. She called 911 at that time.
I have my suspicions. I mean, it just baffles me that, a child can get taken without anybody hearing anything, or if you supposedly say the child that was sleeping next to you in your bed, so I just want him back.
Well, we're getting ready to talk about her statement, especially the first portion. Y'all say she's unemotional? I agree with you. No emotions. We had a couple people say it. Is she showing emotion, or is she just being calm and she's being collective? Excuse me, I know it's collected. I'm just joking. I know some people say cool, calm, and collective. It's cool, calm, collected. Ed, education. Cool, calm, and collected. Do y'all believe she's being collected, or do y'all believe that she's lying? Or that she just don't give a crap? Because if you ask me, I think she don't give a crap. And I think that she plays a part in this too, because if she was doing what she was supposed to be doing, she would not have lost custody of her damn kid.
We have asked for the FBI's assistance in investigating this offense, and they have readily agreed and are participating in this investigation. And lastly, we ask that anyone with information related to, that might have information related to this incident, call the Dallas Police Department's Youth Operations Division at 214-671-4268.
I agree with Peach Cutie Pie. She said, as y'all can see on the screen, I think the chat's moving. Yeah, the chat is moving. Peach Cutie Pie said, calm and collected? Nope, not if my baby's missing. And I agree. I'm tearing some stuff up. I'm going to find my kid. I'm going to let everybody have it. And I'm going to make sure that that emotion is shown in the camera, at least in your voice. Now, I got to tell you this because there's two parts to it. First and foremost, y'all know me and Tommy talk a lot about how the black community purports itself on camera. Well, I'll give her credit for the fact that she does sound like she has sense. She wasn't being hood. She wasn't being ghetto. She wasn't being loud. She wasn't being all deep voiced and stuff like a man. Can we give her credit for that? That's a good thing. So Deshandra Thomas, I'll give you credit for that. You sound like a woman, a female. I'll give you credit for that. But I cannot give you credit for being a good parent. That's what we can't do. That's what we cannot do. Listen at this again.
My baby's a good baby. He's a good boy.
She said her baby is a good baby. He's a good boy. How do you know if you're not the one raising him? How do you know if you're the one participating in acts that got that kid taken away from you in the first place?
He's quiet. He's nice. He's a little shy. I just, just keep him safe.
You should have kept him safe. Just keep my baby safe. You should have kept him in your custody. He should have been safe with you. Y'all agree or disagree with that? I feel like he should have been safe with her. It was her responsibility.
Just bring him back to us. Just bring him back to us. Doesn't matter where he is. I just want him back with us.
First of all, I know she's just speaking. She said it doesn't matter where he is. It does matter where he is, number one. And now we know he's dead. He was with your sister, and now he's dead. And bring him back to us? Why would he want to go back to you when you were the one that abused him in the first place? The fact that they took him out of your custody. And I'm not saying that she abused him, but you know what? You could also look at maybe she wasn't able to financially provide for him. Well, guess what? That's a form of abuse also. Let's move on to the next video now that I've clarified my point about that horrible mother.
We've got some breaking news today in the hunt for a missing Dallas boy.
And y'all help me out, man. Thank you to the people that have already clicked the thumbs up. If y'all would, please click that thumbs up. If y'all like what y'all are hearing, if you appreciate the story and the fact that we advocate for the children, we're speaking from their perspective because they can't speak for themselves and nor can they defend themselves. Just click that thumbs up. Make it blue. It'll share other people. Let them know that we're here.
Emily now telling us that the 18-month-old is dead. This news just coming in as we learn new information about exactly what happened to little Cedric Jackson. Let's get right out to Cleo Green, who just spoke to.
David said she seemed unbothered and unconcerned. Brother, I 100% agree with you.
The boy's aunt.
What's up with my brother Relationship Rehab? If y'all not already done so, subscribe to his channel as well as United Guns of America. Shout out to my brother Relationship Rehab. Thank you, Zachariah, for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Cleo, what are they telling us right now?
Well, you know, Jason, I've been out here all morning and I was really hoping that we wouldn't get this news. Cedric Jackson Jr. was only 18 months old. He lived inside of one of the back units with his aunt, Chrystal. And she told me that CJ is dead, and our police sources have confirmed that.
I just thought about what Sherelle just said, and that's why I appreciate when y'all post in the chat. Right below the super chat that Zachariah Williams left, Sherelle said, so someone just busted in and took one child. Unbelievable. No one protected this baby, yet keep having babies. What Sherelle said is so accurate, and it is so glaring on our community. We keep talking about what's holding us back. This is the type of thing that's hurting the children directly every single day before they ever get a chance to see police and ever get a chance to see like employers doing them wrong or anything like that. Most of us can tell the story about the abuse that happened in the homes that we grew up in. Whether it were physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, starvation, most of us can relate to that story. And that doesn't make any sense. Why would they just take one child when you had other kids? None of it makes any sense. And you had six other kids in there? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's not likely. Apartments are usually 3 bedrooms at the most. Thank you. I called that out too. So you're talking about a total of 9 people potentially living in a maximum capacity in most of these areas in Dallas. I don't know if y'all been to Dallas, but most of these apartments between Dallas, Houston, and the surrounding areas, even in Fort Worth, most of them are usually going to be 3 bedrooms maximum. And that's a stretch because I think it might have been a 2-bedroom.
We all love that baby.
No, you didn't.
He was just the sweetest little baby.
Apparently he wasn't if y'all had to choke him to death for getting into stuff. But y'all didn't treat him like he was a good baby. That's the messed up part.
Confirm that.
We all love that baby.
Y'all all treated that baby like y'all hated him.
He was just the sweetest little baby.
Can I say something, guys? Did anybody in this entire story between the aunt, her boyfriend, the biological mother, and the biological father, any relatives, did anybody act like they love this kid? Can we take a vote on that? Yay or nay on that? Can we get a yay or a nay on that? Did anybody act like they gave a crap about this child? Anybody? And that fake breathing.
Y'all called him CJ.
I called him Junior, but
that's why I thought this was weird. Watch this again.
It is a little baby.
Y'all called
baby.
Y'all called him CJ.
I called him Junior.
Y'all see how quick she changed?
Y'all called him CJ.
I called him Junior.
Y'all called him CJ.
I called him Junior.
Don't y'all think that's weird how she changed and switched it up like that?
Y'all called him CJ.
Not one tear. It matters. Because again, we're talking about your actions speaking louder than your words.
I called him Junior. But his mother and his father call him CJ, but I just called him, come here, Junior. You know, his favorite game is peekaboo. And that's what we played last night before I put him to bed. Peekaboo.
Oh my God, that's so fake, man.
The story, it's heartbreaking and bizarre at the same time. Here's what we know so far. The child's aunt that you just heard from had temporary custody of CJ. She told police that she put him down to bed around 11 p.m. on Tuesday and woke up to discover him missing. She said CJ was only wearing a diaper. Now, the Dallas Police Department issued a statewide Amber Alert just before midnight. And here's where the story takes yet another turn. Police say
Y'all say she just has asthma. Let me see. Edgardo. I have asthma. I've had asthma since I was born. I've had breathing treatments. I've been to the hospital. I've contracted things like bronchitis, all kinds of things. I have what they classify as severe asthma. Let's not go there. When have y'all ever seen me in the middle of talking about something? Yeah, we're getting ready to talk about this story, and we're going to talk about this little boy. And when have y'all ever seen me do that? Sorry, people with asthma don't do that. Liars do stuff like that. That's a liar.
another child inside of the apartment told Cedric's aunt that she saw someone who looked like a close family friend take the toddler from the home overnight. Now, police have identified that relative as a step-grandfather. Our sources tell us he's been named as 47-year-old Harold Johnson.
I forgot about him. That is Chrystal Jackson's boyfriend's dad, the step-grandfather. I know that sounds weird as hell, but initially he was suspected of being the one that kidnapped the kid. I'm not saying that he did anything. He's been cleared of charges. I'm just telling you guys as of right now. But I still say that that makes one more person that I believe didn't show any type of love and care for this kid. Now, I'm going to show you guys this landfill, and I want you guys to understand how hard it would have been to find an 18-month-old baby in all of this landfill. I'm going to show y'all a couple of videos of this, and I want y'all to just imagine if you were out here in hundreds of acres of just area of just trash, trying to find a little bitty baby's body or potentially parts. Think about that.
Right now at 6, a heartbreaking end to the search for an 18-month-old little boy. One day after his disappearance triggered an Amber Alert, remains police believe belonged to the toddler were found in a local landfill. Thank you for joining us. I'm Gilma Avalos. Doug Dunbar is off tonight. 27-year-old Cedric Johnson is in police custody. He is the boyfriend of an aunt who was caring for the toddler. Police say Johnson confessed to taking the boy from the Northeast Dallas apartment and putting him in a dumpster. Detectives later found the child's remains in a landfill in Rowlett. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Jason Allen with new details from the arrest affidavit. Jason?
And Dallas police and firefighters and FBI investigators, this is where they made that discovery this morning. They've told us that the boy's body has now been taken to the coroner's office. However, they still maintain a presence out here this evening. Up there on that highest ridge you can see back behind me. That's where they were searching and made that discovery today.
I'm going to show y'all this landfill. I don't know if you guys have ever really looked at some of these videos of these landfills. They are huge and massive. And I want y'all to think about the fact that they're taking tens of thousands of pounds of trash there every single week. Every single week. And they got to dig through that. Let me say thank you to a couple people that donated. Let me say thank you to my guy AP. He's in the chat. Thank you, AP, for donating on PayPal. Also to Paul. Paul, I think Paul is in the chat. Thank you, Paul. Let me also say thank you to Peach Cutie Pie. Said, keep up your amazing work, Peach Cutie Pie. You know I really always appreciate you. This one comes from, oh, Lord, I can't remember your chat name. Y'all got to start putting y'all chat names in here. I don't want to call your chat name out until I get familiar with it. I know I should know it, but I'm going to say Latanya. You know who you are. I'm not going to read your whole name out. But thank you very much. Also, thank you to have a great show. We'll be listening. You know who you are. Thank you very much. And my guy, Mark Adams. Thank you. And Chris on Cash App. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you guys. And Michelle G. Thank you, Michelle.
Today, investigators ended up here after finding out that Cedric Johnson, the boyfriend of the aunt the child was staying with, was at her apartment the night the boy disappeared. An arrest affidavit says originally police didn't know that, but it says the aunt changed her story and other children who were...
Y'all see how tall that pile of trash is, man? Yeah, I think they did have to use cadaver dogs. Y'all will see the dogs here in a moment.
There in the apartment, they confirmed it. The affidavit goes on to say...
Right there. There's a dog right there. That is absolutely ridiculous, man. And they're standing on trash. Like, think about how much stuff y'all put in the trash, whether it's from food, whether it's from waste, whether it's from diapers, whether it's from empty, stinky bottles of milk and all kind of stuff. Like, think about the type of stuff that y'all throw in y'all trash bags and y'all trash cans. And I want y'all to think about how smelly that stuff is when you take the bag and go stick it in, like if you live in an apartment area or whatever, or even if you live at a house where they've got the garbage cans, you take and stick it in there and then let it sit in there for like a day or two. Think about how bad that thing smells when you open it up. And then think about them taking hundreds of those bags, if not thousands of those, dumping them and mashing them all together and then taking them to a big, huge landfill from all across the area and dumping it all in one place. And it just sits in the hot sun and just marinate and marinate and marinate every single day.
DJ, the baby, had gotten up in the night recently.
Think about what that smells like.
And made a mess of...
And they're standing out there digging with their hands, feet, tools, and putting dogs out there to try to sort and hope that they find a body or a body part.
Some ketchup packets in the apartment. And because of that, the affidavit says, Cedric Johnson, quote, tightly swaddles CJ at night to restrict the child's movement. Well, early Wednesday morning, it says the boy was wrapped but was making noise, and the affidavit says...
P. Slim Holmes, man, what you said breaks my heart, and that's part of why I had to do this update. It was so important to show that one more person was arrested. So you're talking about 3 people were initially arrested in this story. P. Slim said they really showed how much they care for this baby. They threw him away in a dumpster. That's probably one of the lowest things that you could possibly do.
When subject unwrapped CJ, he began throwing up and became unresponsive. The document says Johnson said he performed CPR, but the boy wasn't moving, so that's when he put him in the car and drove to a dumpster and left him. And other children in the apartment told investigators that they heard the boy, quote, crying in the early morning, late night, then stopped suddenly and then disappeared.
Detectives then learned that the dumpster had been emptied at least twice at a landfill in Rowlett. Dallas police, along with local firefighters and agents from the
The dumpster had been let out twice. They dumped twice. So not only would it have been hard to look through one pile of mess, they had to look through at least 2, plus all the other stuff that was already sitting there. Miss Lady T. Sinades took on the $3 challenge. Thank you very much, Miss Lady T. Sinades. Also, thank you to Atuna Bricks in the chat. Great work, Jay. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
FBI went to the location to search the landfill.
Well, P. Slim, when you say that they called 911, the family, we are suspecting that they knew all about this. So clearly they didn't call 911. They didn't think to call 911 at all. He was just like, well, I guess it's not a big deal. Let me just toss the kid out like I'm tossing out a salad or something. But apparently somebody else reported this. Somebody else reported this, which ended up causing the Amber Alert to happen. So at some point it got reported.
Cedric remains again were found shortly after 11 a.m. today.
So Cedric Johnson is in jail tonight. He is facing a charge of serious bodily injury to a child. There could be more charges, though, depending on what the medical examiner finds. And police said that no one else right now is a person of interest in this case. With this news, of course, the scene at the apartment where the boy was living is much different today than it was yesterday. Brooke Rogers is live for us there tonight.
Well, Jason, we've seen family members coming and going throughout the day to them, many of them in tears.
They said many of them are in tears, but the funny part is the custodial people, which would have been Chrystal Jackson and Cedric Johnson, the aunt and the boyfriend, they didn't cry any tears at all, Black privilege. So I agree with you.
Did speak to the little boy's mother and great-grandmother earlier today, and they asked for privacy.
Kitten Paws BB said that the little boy probably choked on his own vomit, which is very, very possible. Very possible.
As they continue to grieve and process his death.
This is where the search and investigation into C.J. Jackson's disappearance began. Child Protective Services had placed the 18-month-old here temporarily with his paternal aunt, a decision his mother said yesterday she supported.
And he's not a newborn baby, so I want you to think about this when you're talking about swaddling a baby. So thank you for calling that out. Swaddling an 18-month-old, you're talking about almost 2 years old. Guys, think about that. We're not talking about a newborn baby being swaddled. We're not talking about an infant being swaddled. You're talking about a toddler, almost 2 years old, probably walking by this point. 2 years old, damn near. You're swaddling a 2-year-old. Think about that.
There's some issues that I had to deal with for myself, just to get me to, be a better mother. But we were totally voluntarily okay with that.
And she's talking about, that's the biological mother again, right here. That's Deshandra Thomas. And I want you guys to remember, she said that she gave up custody of the kid because she was trying to get herself together. To me, that makes you a bad parent. You shouldn't have been having kids if you weren't together.
But we were totally voluntarily okay with that.
Now her only child is dead, and his aunt's boyfriend is behind bars. Cedric.
Think about that. The fact that she had this one kid, I don't know if she has any other kids, but the fact that she had this one kid that she had to give up to get herself together, she gave this kid up to an aunt who already had 6 kids inside of her home. That's flat out irresponsible.
Johnson is facing injury to a child, serious bodily injury. Police say more charges could follow pending the outcome of the autopsy. They also say Johnson confessed to taking CJ and putting him in a dumpster. Johnson has a long criminal history that includes a count of abandoning or endangering a child. CJ's aunt told police she put the toddler to bed around 11 p.m. Tuesday, and when she awoke Wednesday, he had disappeared. Yesterday, his mother called that story suspicious.
It just baffles me that, a child can get taken without anybody hearing anything, or if you supposedly say the child that was sleeping next to you. And
it baffles you, but it baffles me the fact that you have a kid that you have every bit of support for. You have housing, you have food stamps, you have job placement, you have all this help, as well as the courts will sick child support on a man for the rest of his life in order to try to grab every penny, nickel, and dime that this man has. And on top of that, you can go to work. Damn, are we just that lazy? Women have every opportunity on God's green earth to succeed once you have children. Where did I tell something that was factually inaccurate? I want people to get out their feelings, and I want you to tell me when I said something that was not factually accurate. This big, lazy ass woman has every opportunity to be successful. I needed to get myself together. I'm telling you, man, the more that y'all keep giving people handouts and giving people handouts and giving people handouts, it doesn't make them better people. It makes them more dependent. It doesn't make them more independent. It makes them more dependent. Where are my real ladies out there in the chat that can call out a bad mother when you see them? Where are my real ladies at that can call out a bad person when you see them? Where are all my good mothers that can call out a bad mother when you see one? That's a bad mother, period. I don't care how soft-spoken she is. I don't care how nice she tries to be on camera. I don't care how well she tries to play it off. The more you help people, the more dependent they become. That's why I don't like the way that we are in this democratic, liberal, leftist world right now. We keep saying, let's give them, let's give them, let's give them. They'll get better. No, they won't. Snatch child support away from them. Snatch welfare away from them. Snatch it away from everybody. Stop feeding everybody for free for not doing anything and working and trying to create something of their own. Let them know that there are some real consequences out here in this world if you don't go out there and go get it yourself. Let there be some real consequences. That's the only way that this thing will work. You can wean them off. You can take it away little bit by little bit. You can put more consequences in there. I'm not saying just completely just snatch the rug from underneath people, but what we cannot do is allow this system to keep going the way that it is. If you don't want to take care of a kid at birth, you could have literally just given this kid away and not be held responsible. Take it to a safe place. Am I lying? Am I lying? This was a choice that she made knowing that she didn't have to get pregnant. She didn't have to have sex. She didn't have to keep the kid. She kept the kid, knowing she could have got help for the kid, and still turn around and you still say that I had to get myself together because, you know, it was a conscious choice that we made, and I knew that that's where my baby was going. Sorry. I ain't giving nobody else no excuses round here. You heard me?
Your bed, you know, so I just want him back.
Thank you, Donna, for the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I didn't forget about that. Thank you very much.
And we've also learned that CPS did remove 6 children from the apartment yesterday. 4 of those children belong to Johnson, the other 2 to his girlfriend. Live in Dallas, Brooke Rogers, CBS 11 News.
Very difficult details to process. Thank you, Brooke. The Amber Alert issued for Cedric Jackson may not have prevented his death, but some say that's no excuse for the way it was relayed to the public.
We've already talked about that part. If y'all want to hear about how I felt about the whole Amber Alert thing, watch the previous video on this story and y'all can hear my thoughts on that. I want y'all to take a look at this landfill. That's why I'm showing this story. This isn't that specific case, but I'm just showing you an idea of what this landfill could look like. And look at this. They need crane. They need all type of heavy equipment, diggers and stuff to try to look through this. Look at this. And they got to spend days and hours and hours and hours sorting through all of this trash. Imagine how bad that smells out there. Again, this is not the exact case that they were looking for him from, but I'm just showing you this is kind of an idea of them looking through one pile of trash. Just one. That is absolutely insane that we are forcing human beings to have to look through this type of stuff because we are just irresponsible as parents. Look at that, man. That's ridiculous. I want y'all to keep in mind that a lot of these teams sometimes are assembled by way of volunteers. Some of these people are paid sometimes, but I'm sorry. You couldn't pay me enough in order to look through all of that stuff. Smell through all of that stuff. That's got to be hazardous to your health. Not only physically, but even emotionally. It's just letting it out little bit by little bit, little bit by little bit, and you're spending hours out there. It's probably hot as hell out there. And that's what it takes. Each one of those people to go out there and dig and search and look and hope. Flat out ridiculous. And we just take this for granted. They assembled a search team. Now I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to remember that image and think about that. This ain't just some people that's just magically just making some stuff happen.
Sources tell CBS 11 News authorities are recovering the body of 18-month-old Cedric C.J. Jackson from a landfill in Rowlett. Amber Alert for the missing child is also discontinued. Right now, the Dallas Police Department is not confirming CJ's death. Now, this is a developing story. Crews are still on scene at that landfill. Stay with CBS 11 for the latest. Katie Johnston.
All right, guys, let's close it out like this, man. I appreciate that. We crossed over 300 people today, man. I really wanted us to have about 500 people here on a regular basis because I want to make sure that we are able to maximize on how many people are able to hear these stories because these children matter. And I want to let, now that he's in heaven, Cedric Jackson Jr., 18 months old, to let him know and hope that he can hear us up in heaven. Little young, beautiful black brother with his beautiful head of hair. You mattered, bro. You mattered. And I'm just sad that everybody around you did not realize that. I am saddened for my state. This happened in Dallas, Texas. I am absolutely appalled. I am pissed off. I am hurt by this. It is absolutely just unacceptable, period, on so many different levels. CJ mattered. And I just wish he mattered to the people that were in care of him, the people that had custody of him. Starting with the mother, starting with the father, and then they passed that responsibility off to her sister, the aunt, and her boyfriend. Y'all got 6 kids in the house and you talking about playing house, talking about boyfriend? That's flat out weird. Boyfriend. Think about that. 6 and 7 kids in the house and we still playing boyfriend and girlfriend. With this fake crying, fake outrage. It's just absolutely insane, man. And I want you guys to think about this. Whenever y'all go back and subscribe to my Soto Outtakes channel, which is the Soto Podcast Outtakes, I want everybody to go there and subscribe. I'm going to end up calling out a lot of things on there that I believe is important that we really, really need to pay attention to, because I think that our outrage is placed in so many different places that it's just flat out wrong. People want to get mad at Tommy Sotomayor and threaten his life and troll him literally to death. Troll him and his family literally to death. I don't know what that's like, and nor do I want to find out what that's like. I've had my life threatened over this. I've had my life threatened from people in Dallas over talking about stories like this. But what's funny, we will never threaten the people that harm the most innocent and most defenseless of us. They won't harm those people. They won't threaten those people. The real pedophiles out there, they're not going to harm them. They're not going to threaten them. And you can literally look on a map on the internet and find out where they're actually living at. They won't get trolled. They won't get any nasty bad messages. They won't get any emails. They won't get any comments. Our outrage is in all the wrong places. We get mad at all the wrong people. When the source is who we should be mad at. We want to get mad at CPS. This was their fault. Right there. That's the biological mother right there. Looking cute with my weave in the camera. When she had every opportunity to do right by this beautiful little boy right there. And I don't like the fact that he's sitting on the ground right there. It's just something about that don't sit right with me. While she's in front of the camera trying to get sympathy, and they're sending out all of this GoFundMe money, tens of thousands of dollars. It's funny how we also support all the wrong things. We get maybe 10 or 15 people here. You know, Tommy gets a few people on his channel that'll financially support. But when things like this happen, when people don't deserve the support, they'll get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, 50s of thousands of dollars in a few days. Just so they can turn around and go do the exact same thing again. If this broad wanted to go out and go get pregnant and just have another CJ, she could. And repeat this process all over again. But the people like us, we got to go. Our voices got to be stopped. What we're doing doesn't matter, apparently, to enough people. Our voices aren't being heard by the masses. I am so thankful for the people that do hear us. I'm so thankful for the people that did come to listen. I'm so thankful for the people that continue to listen to us over time with an open mind and an open heart, because it takes time. It takes time to understand where our frustration comes from. It takes time to research the things that we talk about. It takes time to digest how much information we put out there, because it's really a lot. I can't tell you guys how many times I've gone back and watched my own. I know y'all might think this is weird. I like going back and watching my own videos, listening to what I said and watching the raw emotion that comes out when I talk about these stories. I go back and rewatch myself, and I'm not being, on any type of high horse. I literally go back and do that. I think it is weird how attention starved that these people are. Chrystal Jackson was so attention starved that she hopped in front of that camera and got to running her mouth about this happened, and my boyfriend didn't do this, and my boyfriend didn't do that. When in all actuality, maybe some of this dust that she kicked up on her own might have settled down if she would have just kept her mouth closed. Oops. Oops. If she had just kept her mouth closed, she wouldn't be in the position that she's in right now. But I will tell you this, that actually works out for us. Here at the AFC, that worked out for us. Because in my opinion, people that lie, steal, kill, and destroy need to do time in prison. Let me rewind that. Let me say that again. People that lie, steal, kill, and destroy need to do prison time. Even more so, it is more egregious when you do it to the most innocent and most defenseless of us. There's nothing this little boy could have did to speak for himself or defend himself from what he had to sustain. There's nothing he could have did. As long as we've been watching court TV and all of this type of stuff, I think it's just flat out irresponsible on these type of people when they continue to hop in front of these cameras and talk to the news with no attorneys. I'm just throwing that out there because it is your right to anything that you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Y'all been knowing that. That's not uncommon to anybody. But as long as you're going to continue to keep talking, and I think that also proves how stupid a lot of people are. The fact that they know that basic right and they still continue to keep talking in front of the camera. Lights are on, that red dot is on. Let me get myself together. My man didn't do nothing. And it gets him in trouble every single time. It is what it is. I think that, like Forrest Gump said, stupid is as stupid does. It just sucks that the kids didn't live to see through this and didn't live to make it through this. I wish we could have known what baby Cedric CJ Jackson could have been. He is a beautiful little boy. I would have been happy to have had him and to be able to provide and take care of him. But I've got my own children. Shout out to Chrystal Chan. She'll tell you, the type of effort that her father goes through for her. I ride for my daughter, I live for my daughter, and I absolutely will protect my daughter with my life. I really wish that the world could have found out what type of person Cedric CJ Jackson could have been if we would have given him the proper things that he needed. The proper attention, the proper love, the proper care, the proper support. Young brother, I'm so sorry that this world failed you. You are looking down on us right now, and I hope that your life at this point can be used as another cautionary tale that can maybe save someone else that was just your size, just your age, that probably had a heart just like yours. It is an absolute tragedy, and I thank you so much, for being strong, and I really wish you would have been able to pull through this. everybody around CJ failed him. And I hope that we get justice. The only other story that I hope to do as an update to this is to find out how many years that they're going to throw at these people that harmed baby CJ Cedric Jackson. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to this update. This